going to teach you 5 football training drills that are done by professional players from some of the biggest teams in the world to show you guys how a lot of the pro footballers actually train. And to do things properly, I've geared up in my PLAYR Smart Coach vest to track my data and my performance just like the pros do as well. So let's get to it. A typical pro session usually consists of a few different parts. There's always a warm-up section, then some agility work, some technical work, and often there's also some positional work being done, and then finally some fitness and stamina. So to cover everything up, I'm going to take a drill from each section to cover as much ground as possible. Now before we get started also, please make sure you subscribe to our channel with the notifications on to join the family and see all our latest videos the second they drop. So thanks guys, and now let's get drilling. Number 1, a warm-up. For pros, warming up is pretty much essential because they do not want to get injured. So make sure you always start slow. You do your stretches and then gradually get into the intensity. Now the drill here behind me is used by more or less every big pro club out there, consisting of 5 or 6 cones that you can gently shuffle through, gradually increasing the intensity and basically do all sorts of different runs. Just make sure that you cover every big muscle group, get all your big muscles warm, then after that you stretch properly, after which you can move on to the next drill. Number 2, agility. Here you have 3 hurdles, and like you can see, I've used poles to create the hurdles, just like you may have seen Barcelona or Manchester City do. And what you have to do is to run through the hurdle, jump over it, and basically complete the course. Now at the end of the course, there's a football which you have to bring back. Tap it around the hurdles, jump over the hurdles, and basically bring it back to the point where you started. And after that, you complete the course without the ball one more time, after which you can take a breather. And do this 3, 4, 5 times, where you really make sure to get those ankles and knees moving, to get as much out of it as you possibly can. Number 3, explosiveness, which is another thing that's absolutely essential to professional players because they need to win that extra yard to create a bit of space for themselves because they operate in such tight spaces all through the match. The drill here is very simple. You lay out a pole or a set of cones which you explode out to, and when you get to the other side, you basically break and go back over the pole or the cones with both feet, after which you explode out to the next cone. Now when you get here, make sure you break to a full stop for just a second, and then you explode again out past the last cone. Now after that, you walk back slowly, get a breather, and you do this thing 5 or 6 times to complete this set. Then take a good breather and do 4 sets in total, and I guarantee you that these bad boys are gonna be pure dynamite. Number 4 is finishing, where things get really tasty in a drill I borrowed directly from FC Barcelona. Thanks guys. Now here you start off by jumping over 2 hurdles, then you continue and run with big strides over 4 cones that are spread out with approximately 1 meter between them. And then finally you sprint down through the 2 poles here, you take the ball, and then of course you slot it home. But to make things even more interesting, you take 2 extra poles and place them near the post, because this will give you an extra challenge to try and place it as close to the post as you possibly can. Not only is it fun, it's gonna make you extremely clinical in the long run. Number 5 is stamina, which is another thing that's absolutely alpha omega to pros. But even pro footballers, they hate to simply just run. So to make things fun and interesting, you can do like Manchester City. Basically have a small square with a lot of poles and cones and hurdles randomly just positioned. And basically you run around inside the square trying to avoid all the cones and the hurdles for 45 seconds. Now after that, you've got 10 seconds to run up to this absolutely giant square you've made with 4 cones with between 15 and 20 meters between them on each side. you run through and around that square at 80% speed. So when you come back here, you have an agility ladder that you have to run through really quickly, and then you finish everything off with a cone crossover run. And after that, you use the 45 seconds in the square as a bit of a breather. And when you've done that, well, basically you do the whole thing 5 or 6 times, after which you should be pretty knackered.
After the session, you want to compare yourself to the pros and also hopefully see some progression from the last session. And with the PLAYR chip, you can analyze your data looking at high intensity runs, sprint distance, distance covered, and top speed. Both comparing the data to your own level, but also to the average data for a pro player. And depending on how you performed, the app will then act as your personal fitness coach, giving you suggestions on how to prepare for a match. Just like the pros do.
So there you go, my friends, a few insights into how pros at some of the biggest clubs in the world actually train. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Manchester City, Juventus, you name the lot. And hopefully it can inspire you to improve even just a little bit. But what would you like us to do next? Some skills, some more drills? Well, you should let us know in the comment section right down below. Now, of course, also, if you want to get a PLAYR Smart Coach tip, there was, like myself, you can go and pick it up via the link I'm going to leave on the screen on Unisport store right over there. Finally, also, if you're new here, don't forget to go subscribe to our channel with the notifications on, of course, to see all our latest videos the second they drop. And if you want to learn some more cool football drills and skills, well, all you have to do is click the playlist right down there. So good luck, and with that said, I'm signing off. Cheerio.